Hello everyone and welcome to some MiSTer FPGA news. In this episode, we will be talking about the PlayStation FPGA console, a huge update to the Sega Saturn core, downloadable test cores for the Jaguar single RAM core, a 3DO core that was announced out of the blue, and more. Also, check out my channel sponsor MiSTer Add-ons, a place where you can get all your MiSTer needs, things like full MiSTer setups, accessories, I/O boards, and more. I also want to let everyone know that my MiSTer News updates will continue having the same schedule as I did over the holidays. That is that they will no longer consistently be released on Mondays. They could come out at any time of the week. I find that having this schedule is allowing me to work on other video projects more easily. So this isn't about cutting content, it's about offering more content in the future. Anyway, let's get to the news. Developer Raki posted that their next possible release is an arcade core for Kiki Kaikai, a vertically scrolling shoot-'em-up. Later games in the series will be known as the Pocky and Rocky series on the Super NES. Retro Remake showed what the packaging will look like for their PlayStation-themed FPGA console. The real name still has not been revealed, so this post shows the code name in the packaging. The post also mentions something about a dock. I wasn't aware of this dock, but I saw someone mention before that the disk reader is supposed to go on the bottom. So that's what I assume the dock is for. The website Time Extension has posted another interview with Taki Uran talking about the upcoming PlayStation-themed FPGA console. One thing discussed in the interview is how the console will simplify the MiSTer FPGA experience for the average user. Another bit of info that I wanted to know was how CD media will be handled. While it doesn't look like a confirmation, they do mention this. On a stock core with a stock system, it is possible to store your games on an internal SSD via a simple process. Whenever you use that CD in the future, the stock system will call the stored backup and load the game without you needing to do anything. So this is how the Zapparoo project handles launching games from CDs when you attach an external drive. However, Taki spoke about making custom software modifications to make this possible, so they might not be relying on the Zapparoo project for CD support. There are more topics discussed in the interview, like the challenges in developing the hardware, possible custom UI, other cartridge-based FPGA consoles, and more, so check out the interview to get all the details. The Saturn core has had a huge update. SRG-320 is always constantly making changes behind the scenes before any official updates are pushed, and you can always try those unstable builds to get the most up-to-date changes. Now SRG-320 pushed an official build that implements all the updates done since June 2024. There have been fixes to all main parts of the Saturn, therefore increasing compatibility. There are way too many fixes to mention here, but some notable games affected are Albert Odyssey, Battle Garega, Rayman, Magic Knight Rayearth, Panzer Dragoon, Legend of Oasis, Virtua Cop, Nights into Dreams, Radiant Silvergun, and many more. Along with some compatibility updates, there have also been these additional updates. RAM H was moved to the second SD RAM module to provide the original access timings. This fixes slowdowns in Dead or Alive and other fighting games, and also helps other games. This does require a second RAM module to be installed on your MiSTer FPGA. However, single SD RAM users can optionally try a new menu option to speed up some timing that compensates for the DDR3 RAM latency. This can also improve games, especially fighting games. I've been reading that not all SD RAM modules might be compatible with this option, so your mileage may vary. Also, backup cartridge support was added. You can now download some test builds for the Atari Jaguar core that runs on a single RAM stick. Available from Discord, you can now start playing Jaguar games on your MiSTer FPGA without needing 2 RAM chips. Remember that this core is still a work in progress, so expect it to be unstable. Greg from LaserBear is doing an interest check for an M.2 Enclosure designed to fit under or over a MiSTer FPGA setup. This can give users another options to store their games under MiSTer FPGA gaming setups. If this is something that you would like, head on over to the post and let Greg know. So out of the blue, SRG-320 announced that he's working on a 3DO core. And this isn't some announcement about starting to work on a core. He already has plenty of games running and posted a video on YouTube showing some of what's working. It's amazing the work he's been able to accomplish. This is on top of the constant updates being made to the Saturn core. Even though official releases of the Saturn core are pretty far apart, If you look at SRG320's GitHub, you can see that he's constantly making multiple updates to the Saturn core with daily test builds for that core available for download. So how he found time to create an entire brand new core for the 3DO is pretty shocking to me. If you enjoy the work that SRG320 does, please consider supporting him on Patreon. This 3DO core isn't available for download yet, but I look forward to see its progress. Protego fixed the collision issues that Gradius 2 had on the JT Twin 16 core, and it is now supported and working. Initially, this game was failing in the core because the scroll settings that affect the sprite location were not applied at the expected time. This core is still a beta core, so it's only available to Patreon subscribers, but as soon as the core is stable, it will be freely available to everyone. Boss Righteous on GitHub is creating a new graphical user interface for the MiSTer FPGA. It's described as a low-resolution, analog-friendly rich media GUI for your MiSTer FPGA game library. So what does this GUI do? Here's what the GitHub says. It's a fast and responsive GUI for navigating your games and loading them directly from the GUI. It provides full media libraries for common MGL loadable systems like MiSTer Extensions and Zapperoo. There's no need to scrape your library from the internet. It does games as a primary browsing unit. ROMs are children. It supports low resolution, 15 kHz analog displays. There's minimal input button requirements, so it's helpful for NES and JAMA interfaces. It executes as a script from the on-screen display, and it uses the wonderful groovy MiSTer core as an interface for video and input handling. So this means that you have to configure groovy MiSTer on your MiSTer FPGA. So what does it not do? It does not replace the built-in on-screen display browser experience. This is not meant for primary on-boot loading. It does not load cores and scripts quickly. There is a timing-based handshake. It does not cover the entire MiSTer core library. It is limited to MGL and RetroArch database overlap. It does not do animation or video, and it doesn't bridge and index across systems. System databases and indexes are standalone. Remember that this user interface is currently a proof of concept, so it's in a very early state. But if you want to try out a new way of browsing your games on your MiSTer, head over to the GitHub to check it out. So that's it for this episode. Please also try to support Sorge, the maintainer of the MiSTer project, and other MiSTer developers and contributors on support platforms such as Patreon and Ko-fi. Their hard work allows us to enjoy this amazing project. I also provided links to all my sources in the description. Make sure to also check out RetroRGB.com to see my MiSTer news videos in blog form and to get more retro-related content. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and this bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.